What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and I'm here with Greg McGarity. And this is the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl Drive the Selection Show presented by Toyota, which each and every week we go over the college football landscape as it relates to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl played here in Jacksonville, Florida, December 27th. Prime time. You won't get it any bigger than this. Best bowl game that I'm associated with. Technically, the only bowl game I'm associated with. I am your guy, Big Game again. I think we talked about this last year, 2 years ago. I'm the only Chairman's Club member that's ever scored a touchdown in the
Absolutely,
game.
not even close.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I got a chance to see how old I was last year when we did our 80th anniversary, but this is the 81st year that we're doing the game, so I'm going to be full of excitement. College football is back. We complain all year about how it's not here, then we get a few months to either cheer and be grateful that our team gets to
Mhm.
do something, or be punished about our team doing something. We have a lot of teams in the ACC, in the SEC playing. A few that are playing against each other, but for week one. But before we get into week one, let's kind of recap a little bit about week zero. And was there anything important that we saw, or anything that was a little disappointing?
Well, the only thing that affected us was Stanford, member of the ACC, losing to Hawaii. And, really, I think anytime you have these conference ACC teams and SEC teams playing non conference opponents, you want them to win because it certainly helps their prospectus to be able to play in our bowl game. So every win is crucial, especially those outside the conference.
All right, so this weekend again, going into week one, giving us more and more football, more and more excitement of things to be taught to bring up. What are some games that we need to be paying attention to and checking out this week on the SEC side?
Wow, where do you start? I mean, we start really no games involving each conference on
Thursday,
Thursday.
but my
My
gosh,
gosh,
Friday,
Friday
Auburn
morning
at
Baylor.
Baylor. It's a
It's a
huge
huge
game.
game for Auburn to get on the road, and Georgia Tech
Georgia
at
Tech at
Colorado. I think
Colorado. I
Georgia
think
Tech's
Georgia
got
Tech's
a really good team this year. So a lot going on there. And then Saturday's just full. Syracuse at Tennessee, Texas at Ohio State, Alabama at FSU, LSU at Clemson. And then, heck, it goes into Sunday, Virginia Tech at South Carolina and Notre Dame at Miami. And then Monday, TCU at UNC and Bill Belichick's first game.
Wow, good stuff there. I get a chance to check out a couple of those. And also that Georgia Tech Colorado game. Deion Sanders post Shadur, post Shiloh, post Travis Hunter. What is he going to be able to do in Georgia Tech with what Key's been able to do with getting that team really really good, especially in the transfer portal. I'll give a shout out to Amari Harvey, young man from my alma mater, well as we got a couple Jacksonville kids on that Georgia Tech team. So for the fan base to be able to check those out. You bring up a little small game that's happening in Tallahassee, Florida. FSU, Alabama. For the record, here at Jacksonville in Everbank Stadium for having the largest attendance was FSU Alabama back in 2007. What does that mean for if FSU is able to pull off an upset against Alabama?
Well, it was certainly get a great start to the season after their 2-win season last year to get off on the right foot. And I know they're underdogs, but I think mainly people are going to see how do they stack up against Alabama. I don't think anybody's expecting Alabama to steamroll them, but that is a game that's very important. Maybe not towards the end of the season, but certainly getting off to a good start. And I know both teams want to get off to a good, solid start.
Dober at Alabama, really good coach. Always year two, wherever he's at, you see an exponential bump. What does this mean for Alabama? If Alabama were to lose this game, what does that kind of mean for the reputation for Bama? But if Bama wins this game, what does it also say about his coaching style post Saban era?
Well, I think it sets itself up to really, you mentioned season importance. And this game, as we know last year, regardless of when you're playing great opponents, a loss there can really come back and hurt you in week 14 once all the chips are on the table. Because if everyone's equal or several teams are equal at the end of the year, they're going to draw back to either wins or losses, especially in these non-conference games. I think those are really pivotal, and a lot of those aren't on the radar to the national media, but they certainly are with us as far as certain other games that involve conference ACC and SEC teams against non-conference opponents.
LSU versus Clemson at Clemson. Brian Kelly's kind of struggled in his openers against ACC opponents when he's got a chance to go up against that. Kind of what should people be looking for in that LSU Clemson game?
I think it's all dependent upon the defenses because Klubnik at Clemson is viewed as maybe the number one
Mm-hmm.
pick. You got Nussmeier, so you got a quarterback battle, but it's going to be down to the intangibles of the game. It's going to come down to who can execute or who can be mistake prone in those games, and usually they're just decided by one score. That's the way Southern Cal beat LSU last year in Las Vegas. Clemson struggled opening games in the past. Really be a telling game for both teams, and certainly the loser is going to be behind the 8 ball very early.
Going back over to the SEC side, just with that, with Texas versus Ohio State, defending national champion, playing against Texas with a really really good coach and tons of recruiting, and also the Big Ten. Who's the superior conference, the Big Ten or the SEC? What is that? What does a loss do to Texas? And is it just a blemish? Does it not matter if Texas runs the table? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just think the loser is obviously going to be disappointed, but in no way, shape, or form are they going to be out of the race because you're dealing with the number 1 team and number 3 team. So those are the type of games that can really only help you. They can't really hurt you. So 2 juggernauts going after it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's starting at noon, so they're going to have to get up early and get ready to go. And I think it should be a great game.
Big noon kick doesn't affect Big Ten. It only affects us in the South. I think it's because it's still hot down here. Like eventually it'll be cold up north, but it'll always be bright and sunny in the South during football season. The last one we talked about briefly, but really on Sunday, good match. I'm going to go scout that game personally. Notre Dame at Miami. Notre Dame again doing really really well under their coach. Miami's doing very good with the hype and the branding side of things, but still haven't won anything that matters. What does this do for Miami to beat a brand like Notre Dame? And also, what would it mean for Notre Dame to be able to come into Miami and potentially beat the Hurricanes?
I think it kind of works both ways. I think Miami has always started off strong in Gainesville last year. They have a veteran quarterback there. So, Notre Dame losing might put them back a little bit because they've got a really tough schedule coming up with some big games. Miami also has some big games. They've got Florida at home. They got FSU. But, again, it's not going to hurt either team. I think from a mindset standpoint, Carson Beck, Miami getting off to a fast start is really, really important to them. But they're going up against Freeman's defense, which we saw last year was a phenomenal defensive group.
Also, a really, really good running back. Nothing I love more than great running back play. Let's bring this back to what we're actually discussing and what brings us here, which is the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, played here December 27th in Jacksonville, Florida. What are some of the keys that people need to realize in picking? Trying to be smarter than the insiders. How do we pick the game? What are some of the criteria?
Well, the ACC is very prescribed. Whoever goes up to the college football playoff is obviously out of our game. But then the next 3 teams are really in our ballpark there. We have to share with San Diego and Orlando, but number of wins, and that's why these non-conference games are so important because you can get in the ACC with 8 conference games. They've got 4 games outside. They really technically should win if they're scheduling correctly. And maybe one of those would be really tough. But I just think that that's going to play into a big part. And the SEC is much more just toss some balls in the air and hope you get the right pick. We know we can't have Ole Miss, but who knows? It's just we thought we were in great shape with Florida last year. It turned out, 7-win Florida team could not trump a 9-win Ole Miss team. So things go on that you just can't predict. And so we're just when you're not in control of things, it makes it kind of difficult. But we're going to try to control what we can control and do our best to advocate who we would like to have in our games. But at the end of the day, it all depends on what the conference tells you who you're going to have playing the game. So things have changed a little bit, but still there's some work we can do behind the scenes to try to advocate for our games.
What are some of the non-qualifiers?
Well, you can't have repeat games. You can't have a team in the ACC. They've got a rule to where teams that have participated in your game the last 2 years can't play in our game. So that eliminates Duke and Clemson. The SEC would not send Ole Miss back here. Would they send Kentucky? Probably not, because they've been here often. So you can't have any games that are scheduled for next year either. So those are some factors that prevent teams from playing in our game. But we're okay. We don't have Duke and Ole Miss. We're going to be fine. And perhaps as the season goes on, there are going to be some teams that pop up that you don't expect. So that's the intrigue of our bowl game. A lot of things happening to where people didn't expect, in week one to happen, and who knows. I just feel like we're going to have a good game this year, and luck will be on our side.
So things we can't have: Florida State, we can't have; Miami, we can't have. We'll never have Florida State, Miami. Florida, we can have, but we'll never have Florida State, and we won't have this year Florida, Miami,
Right.
or as they continue to have those different things. So get those rivalries out of there, but we can't have those respective ball clubs here at the Taxslayer Gator Bowl on December 27th. Prime time. Make sure you check us out. Also, make sure you tune in each and every week with me, Big Game James _36, and Greg McGarity as we bring you the Taxslayer Gator Bowl's Drive the Selection Show presented by Toyota. Again, where we're going to talk about the college football landscape past and present and future as it relates to the Taxslayer Gator Bowl. Make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you join Chairman's Club. Make sure you look at all of the different things that we do in the community and around the Jacksonville area. Appreciate you guys for chopping it up with us. We will see you guys next week.